Welcome to the world of Giant Gnome Productions. Find out more online at giantgnome.com. And now, our feature presentation.
Previously on Star Trek Outpost, Jeneth was tracked down by another Klingon, Greetok.
You look like me.
Of course I look like you.
I have seen no others who look as I do.
Of course you have.
I do not remember them.
Explain how you cannot remember your entire life.
I was pulled, injured, and near death from a collapsed building. I recall nothing from before that. Nothing except a hatred that gnaws at my gut and mocks me from the corners of my mind. There are people I must kill. So many people. If only I knew who they were.
And Myth, a woman from Farmer's Past, has appeared in an effort to track down a missing agent.
Our man in the area has gone quiet. That's why I came out here myself to check it out. His last report had him heading for the Enclave.
The Enclave can be a dangerous place.
And now, Star Trek Outpost, Episode 71, Seeds of Chaos.
So, Lancer, this is the Enclave.
This is the Enclave, Myth. In fact, this is their state-of-the-art transportation center.
Not impressed, but I should have expected as much, based on the intelligence reports.
You've read reports about this place?
The few that we have.
Have you ever worked in the field, Myth?
What's that supposed to mean?
Because if you have ever worked in the field, you should know that gawking about like you're doing now is a sure way to draw attention to us.
I'm not gawking, Lancer. I'm getting a lay of the land, reviewing the facility. Not that it's all that difficult. It's hardly more than a storage facility with multiple access points.
Nevertheless, I would suggest we move along.
Fine, whatever.
You will find that the Enclave is little more than a place business people, both reputable and those with questionable credentials, more of the latter than the former, have agreed is neutral ground. It's an experiment in capitalism at its most ruthless.
I take it you're a frequent visitor?
I've been here twice. This is my second visit.
What? Seriously? This is only your second time here? And you're supposed to be my backup?
I never claimed to be an expert on this place, Myth. And don't give me that if this operation fails, it'll all be your fault tone of voice. You were planning on coming here by yourself, until Farmer asked me to try to keep you alive.
He just wants to keep tabs on me while I'm in this area of space.
Perhaps there's a reason for that.
Touché.
Besides, I'm as qualified as pretty much anyone else on DS3 to escort you here. We simply don't have any extensive boots-on-the-ground intelligence about this place. After all, Starfleet isn't exactly welcome here.
Well, apparently Chief Knox knows his way around.
And I'm telling you what he's told me. And if you were serious about this mission, you would have waited for Knox to get back to come here with us. He was your best chance to find out anything about this...
Harrison.
But you didn't want to wait for Knox to get back. So you're stuck with me.
And wait for how long, Lancer? Days? Weeks? I couldn't wait. I have a man missing.
I have to give you credit. You seem quite dedicated to him. Commendable. But you know as well as I do that should any operative be caught or killed, any knowledge of them or their actions is disavowed. And the longer he remains missing, the greater the odds are that you'll never find him. At this point, the best you can hope for is to sniff out some clue as to what happened to him.
I am well aware of the odds, Lancer. Everyone in our line of work is.
Your line of work, Myth. I'm out, and I intend to stay out.
So much for that. Farmer has pulled you back in.
No, he hasn't. This is strictly a one-time security detail. I'm not like you. Not anymore.
Don't be so sure of that, Lancer.
Well, it's your call.
Yes, it is. My call. And I made it.
So now what? Where do you want to start besides scanning the area? Like a rookie.
He was staying on his ship, which is conveniently missing.
Anything left unattended in a place like this becomes fair game pretty quickly. What protocols was he working under? Why was he here?
His protocols are classified. And as to why he was here,
Let me guess. That's classified too.
glad you understand.
Oh, I understand. We're so used to misinformation that even the best of us find it hard to distinguish truth from fabrication.
Oh, you're one of those.
One of those? And just what do you mean by that?
I just figured out why you quit, Lancer. Why you walked away. Something didn't work out the way you wanted. The good guy didn't win. The bad guy got away. So you decided it was all pointless and went to pout in a corner.
Not everyone can have it all figured out like you do, Myth. So, because you seem to know it all, what's our first step? We can't just stand here staring at everything like a tourist.
I would appreciate you not talking to me as if this was my first field assignment, Lancer.
Then stop acting like it is your first field assignment. What are you doing?
I'm looking for someone.
Yeah, that's obvious to the entire spaceport.
Someone who knew Harrison.
His contact here at the Enclave?
Not really, but if I'm right, I do see someone he mentioned in some of his reports. Come on. Hello? Is anyone in there?
Whoa, put the weapon down, friend. We're not here to hurt you.
Sorry. I'm just a little nervous. Wait a minute. You two are human?
And what if we are? Is that a problem? You got a problem with humans?
Humans I like fine. Some of my best friends are humans. But you aren't from here. You're from the space beyond. The United Federation, aren't you? Like the Klingons. Klingons. Now they're another story.
What's wrong with Klingons?
They can be very threatening.
You've met Klingons out here? I've only heard of one Klingon out here, a female by the name of Jeneth. You didn't have a run-in with her, did you?
Jeneth? No. From the solar winds? No, not her. But he was every bit as scary as I hear she is.
A male Klingon. Out here? What did he want?
I couldn't say. It's all kind of muddled. I was afraid for my life.
It doesn't matter, since we aren't looking for a Klingon. Do you know this man?
Maybe. Friend of yours? Does he owe you money?
No, nothing like that. I'm just trying to find him. And he's mentioned your ship to me. You're Gennaro, aren't you? Gennaro Boak?
Maybe. Maybe not.
Look, we're not here to hurt you, Gennaro. We're friends. And we're not looking for trouble. We just want to find this man.
I take it you've seen him.
Perhaps. I move things around for a living. He's hired me a couple of times to move things for him. Easy jobs. A real talker, that one.
Yeah, that's him.
Is he here on the Enclave?
Could be.
He does turn up in the darndest places sometimes. You know, I'd just finished loading up and was getting ready to leave. But if you're looking for him to get something moved, I still have some room in my cargo holds.
I'm not looking to hire him, or anyone. I just need to talk to him.
Okay. Are you sure he doesn't owe you money?
I'm sure.
I'm just asking. I wouldn't want to be responsible for getting him hurt. But you two don't look like those kind of moneylenders. Still, if there's a reward for finding him...
If you run into him, just tell him the Danebian was looking for him.
The Nebian? I thought you were human.
A human from a colony on a planet called Deneb. He'll understand. And he may give you something for telling him. But that's between the two of you.
I'll tell him when I see him.
He's not here. We should get going.
Right. Nice to meet you, Gennaro.
It was a pleasure to meet you. Hey, you didn't tell me your names. I'll just call you.
Another Klingon in the area? That should be looked into.
When the Klingon Empire signed the Khitomer Accords, a lot of unhappy Klingons went in a lot of different directions. You know that. It's not that unusual to find one or two strays about, especially in a place like this. It's not of any consequence. That's not why I'm here.
But it's enough out of the ordinary to at least warrant a couple of questions.
If you feel this Klingon is important, why don't you look into it? Harrison may have gone silent for some reason, but he's my man. I know how to find my men.
Well, we'd better stick together. Harrison's the priority.
I know Farmer asked you to watch out for me, Lancer. But really, what could happen if we split up?
If you have to ask that, then we're in deeper trouble than I thought.
Suit yourself. So, since you seem to be our Enclave expert, where do you suggest we start?
Well, when all else fails, consult the local authorities.
Are there ever any in a place like this?
The Enclave does have a central government of a sort. It's not very strong. It's more interested in keeping the peace than enforcing any rules. But if we have the Latinum, they may have some information. We do have the Latinum, don't we?
I know how these places work, Lancer. Just don't go promising any blocks of Latinum in my name, if you don't mind.
Bricks.
What?
Latinum comes in slips, strips, bars, and bricks. That's their ascending measure of value.
Whatever.
If you want to blend in, Myth, you need to have the local language down. You should know that.
In the darkest reaches of the United Federation of Planets, an isolated station stands sentinel over a neglected frontier. Commissioned long ago with high hopes, its promise is now all but forgotten. A lonely outpost serving as the gateway to the vast expanse beyond, where discovery and adventure await.
Chief Knox. Chief, are you in here? Computer.
Awaiting query.
What is the current location of Chief Knox?
Chief Knox is in the antimatter intermix chamber.
Computer, when I asked you before, you said he was in the portside Jeffries tubes. Then you said he was in his personal workshop in engineering. Then he had a meeting scheduled with Commander Exler in a ready room. Each time I ask, you direct me to a location far from where I am when I ask.
These are the locations in which Chief Knox was detected at the time you inquired regarding his whereabouts.
I don't believe Chief Knox has ever attended a scheduled meeting with anyone, including Commander Exler.
Such a meeting occurred 2 years, 10 months, and 4 days.
But it wasn't today.
A cross-check of the ship's log indicates there is no record such a meeting occurred. However, Chief Knox's location was registered in Commander Exler's ready room.
When I went there looking for Chief Knox, neither he nor Commander Exler were there.
Confirmed. Neither Chief Knox nor Commander Exler were located in the ready room while you were there.
Then you told me the Chief was in the computer core,
That is correct.
which is some distance from the Commander's ready room.
That is correct. Turbo lift times can be...
I'm beginning to notice a pattern here.
Chief Knox is a busy man and is called to many parts of the ship.
Computer,
Awaiting query.
what is the current location of Chief Knox?
Chief Knox is located on the holodeck.
The Chimera doesn't have a holodeck anymore, computer.
That is correct.
Computer.
Give it a rest, Doc.
Chief Knox.
What do you want?
You know, I get the sense you are avoiding me.
Me? Avoid you? Nah, I avoid everyone. That way I can actually get some work done.
Here, in the computer core?
The computer's part of my responsibility.
Here to fix the computer tracking functions so it will correctly report a crew member's location? Or so it won't inadvertently report your location correctly?
The problem with the location randomization subroutine is that it may randomly give the correct location. But to answer your question, Doc, I'm doing neither. I'm checking on the computer. It's just felt a little off since we got out of the pinch.
You're probably just being a little sensitive to your connection with it, Chief. Having our memories amplified was an intense experience for all of us. It would not be unexpected that after returning to normal, your normal may not feel all that normal.
Maybe you're right. Thanks for pointing that out, Doc. Now that that's solved, there really ain't no more need for you to be hanging around here any longer, right?
Are you trying to get rid of me, Chief?
Yeah, I got work to do.
I have work to do, too. In your case, that includes a quarterly physical we need to schedule.
Well, sorry, Doc. I got something important to do that day.
We haven't even scheduled the appointment yet, Chief. Of course, history would indicate that it doesn't matter if we do. Something important always seems to arise whenever we have one scheduled or rescheduled.
Hey, I've been to plenty of your appointments.
Only apparently when you could pre-program the results you wanted into the medical computers.
Yeah, well...
Oh, I know, Chief. It's the dance we do. I set the appointment, you miss the appointment. I reschedule the appointment. I remind you, and you conveniently forget.
But there does seem to be a pattern. It could be there's a lesson for someone to learn there.
I'm sure there is. Apparently, the lesson is that I need to work even harder to get you to sickbay.
What? No. Look, Doc, Or?
We could talk.
Talk.
You, me, right here, right now.
And that's it?
That's it.
No nagging?
No nagging.
No hollering at Exler?
Not a peep.
And you won't send security to drag me to sickbay for your poking and prodding?
No security. I don't see any harm in letting the quarterly checkup slide by. That would probably be better for both of our blood pressures. But I do insist on seeing you at least semi-annually.
And not good enough, Doc. Make it annually. Then we'll see.
Done.
So, start yapping.
Okay. Are you sure you wouldn't like to go somewhere more comfortable?
You know, I know that game. You get me to agree to something small, then you start picking away at the edges of the deal to try to get something bigger. Well, I'm plenty comfortable right here.
But there aren't even any chairs, Chief.
Hang on. Chimera, give me a couple of chairs. Have a seat, Doc. Your clock's ticking.
Okay. I wanted to ask you about the Yortel computer. I heard that...
Yeah, sorry about that. It couldn't be helped. An accident.
Yeah, I saw that in the report. A stray phaser blast destroyed the machine. Well, it's probably just as well, seeing as how Yortel was about to jump into your mind.
Yeah, well, she was trying to make the jump. But something was preventing it.
Preventing it?
Yeah. I got the sense that something was blocking Yordell from making the jump smoothly. Something more than my own determination. The more I thought about it, the more I thought that maybe the connection I had with Chimera had something to do with it.
Well, that's certainly a possibility, particularly with Chimera being your manifestation.
Well, that's another reason I'm down here checking out the computer.
I see. If you'd like me to take a look.
Doc. That wasn't part of the deal. Oh, and the clock is still ticking.
Just thought I'd offer.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, despite the loss of that priceless archaeological item, there were some important tidbits of circumstantial information we did learn from the whole encounter.
If you say so.
We already know that the Esherites controlled the area that we currently know as the Pinch.
Yeah? So what?
And based on the reports I read from you and the Remington crew, it appears that perhaps they may have actually caused some of the anomalies that the Pinch is famous or infamous for.
Why would anyone want to do that? So far, none of the anomalies have been all that positive.
I would theorize that they didn't create them intentionally, Chief. I believe the Esherites reached incredible heights of science and technology, possibly to the point where they were on the verge of making a great evolutionary leap, like some of the superspecies have taken.
Superspecies?
Like the Organians, or perhaps even Skeleroon, beings who seem to be able to manipulate energy and matter at will. Beings who may have even abandoned physical forms to become pure energy-based life forms.
Well, if they were so close, why didn't the Esherites make the leap?
We'd need more information to be certain, but it could be for 100 different reasons. Maybe it was biological, disease or plague. Perhaps it was a more prosaic reason, something as simple as a war.
You don't really believe that, do you?
Not really. Frankly, I think the clues all point toward their technology being the key to understanding their demise. They may have lost control of it. Instead of mastering it, they became slaves to it. Not in the sense that they were forced to obey it, but more like they became too dependent on it. Either a regression in their physiology necessitated the technology, or their reliance on technology caused their physiology to regress. Either way, they reached a point where they couldn't live without it.
Maybe. I know from the images that I caught through my link.
Wait, you received images through the link? Tell me all about...
Yeah, it happened when Yordle started clawing at my mind, but that's all for a later discussion. Maybe. I'm still trying to sort it out myself.
Let me help, Chief. Just think of the secrets we could uncover if we work together.
Look, Doc, as far as I'm concerned, they can keep their secrets. All I'm interested in is their tech. But I think you may be onto something as far as them regressing physically. Like you said before, the Esherites seem to have made a lot of technical enhancements to and for their own physical form. I agree that they needed them. I got the sense that their bodies were failing. And I don't mean in the good way of becoming one with the universe or anything.
You got that from your interaction with the Yortel computer?
Yeah, it's only flashes. Kind of like images from dreams that you can't quite remember.
Go on.
Not much else to tell. I just get the feeling that it wasn't just their physical bodies that were failing. It was their minds as well.
Mind and body do tend to rise and fall together. Do you have any sense about why they started to decline?
No, not really. Could be the same thing we're facing, though.
What do you mean, we're facing?
Come on, Doc. Surely you've seen it.
Seen what?
People have stopped trying.
I don't know what you mean, Chief. I don't see the people around me not trying.
Yeah, well, Starfleet does seem to attract the better of the not-so-bad. The Federation, too.
As compared to...
Look, Doc, you and your ivory tower crowd need to start looking around and seeing things for what they are. Antimatter, replicators, holodecks. They ain't good things.
Safe and plentiful energy, goods available as needed, mental stimulation. I don't see what the problem is.
Really, all available with just the wiggle of a finger. Nice as that is, it ain't reality.
Are you talking about the psychological condition holodeck delusional syndrome, where someone comes to think that a holodeck simulation is reality?
People don't need holodecks to live in their own little realities. People can have it soft in the real world if they want to, especially when you get into the center of the Federation. With all their needs met through safe and plentiful energy, goods available as needed, and as much distraction from the real world as they want, they don't have to do anything, even leave their homes. They can just suckle off the teat of civilization for the rest of their lives.
Well, certainly there are some people who underachieve, Chief, but I don't believe there are all that many of them. Most people need to strive for something in their life.
You said you don't believe, Doc. Usually you can spout out some study or paper or something. Do you know? Does anyone know?
Assuming you are correct, Chief, that there is a certain population of the Federation that is taking the opportunity to stagnate, it doesn't appear to be a large enough group to influence the outcome. Starfleet continues to turn away qualified people. Technology, medicine, the arts, they all continue to advance. We haven't stopped discovering.
Yet. The word you're looking for is yet. And I get what you're saying. We get all the people we need doing what needs doing. So did the Esherites. Until they didn't. Until someone who knew the key to holding the whole thing together couldn't find anyone to pass the secret on to before they died. And the whole thing started to fall apart.
That sounds like you could be describing Chimera, Chief.
What? No.
This is your ship, Chief. You know it like the back of your hand, but you're the only one who knows it nearly that well. By design, it often seems. If you're gone...
TAC can manage. Well enough, at least long enough to get her back home. And let's face it, Chimera probably ain't got a lot of time left in Starfleet anyway.
Well, Chimera is an old ship. At least those parts you haven't swapped out for something newer. Or more exotic.
Yeah, there's still plenty of things that are original. I mean, not everything can be replaced.
Chief, you know as well as I do that most of the Oberths have already been decommissioned.
Yeah, well, ain't nobody taking Chimera away from me.
It sounds like you have a plan.
Ain't so much a plan as certainty. The point is, Chimera, you, me, DS3, we ain't exactly essential to Starfleet. Even if Chimera falls, with or without me, it's not like the rest of the Federation would even notice.
Maybe not, but it will be the lesser for having lost her.
I didn't build Chimera for Starfleet, Doc. I built her for me. Starfleet was just a necessary pain in the neck. They provided the chassis, the labor, the parts. At least some of the parts.
And the rest you found wherever you could.
It wasn't quite that simple, but yeah.
Taking any opportunity you had to test out some new piece of technology.
Doc, what are you getting at?
That cargo ship the Remington found.
The one that Yortel's previous host was found on? It wasn't anything special, Doc. Old tech. I could find better at any salvage yard.
But it had to come from somewhere, Chief.
Sure. We downloaded her logs. We know where it's been. Again, nothing to get excited about.
Except maybe where they came across a different derelict ship. One that had Yortel's computer aboard.
Look, Doc, you're obviously trying to lead me somewhere. Please just spit it out.
If we could trace Yortel's path backward, we might be able to find out where she originally came from. We might be able to find out where someone released the genie from the bottle.
You mean Yortel from her computer? It sounds dangerous.
So does bypassing the speed of light in artificial duranium environments built around a contained matter-antimatter explosion.
You're thinking there's something out there, some Escherite tech, aren't you?
If the computer that contained her survived the millennia, why couldn't other tech? I'm more interested in other types of artifacts, about learning more about the Escherites' history and culture. But these things are likely to be found in the same place. Like I said before, who knows what you and I could uncover if we work together.
I would love to see what I could do with that. But why bother dreaming about it, Doc? You're talking about months of research, finding the right people to talk to, combing databases, traveling thousands of parsecs, tracking down obscure clues. Starfleet ain't gonna take Chimera out of regular service for us to do something like that.
No, but if we can find enough concrete evidence to convince them we're on the right path, they may let us pursue individual leads.
Then you're in a chicken or egg circle, Doc. I mean, how are you gonna find the evidence you need if you can't look for it?
There are ways, Chief, but I won't be able to do it without your help. But I'm afraid I've used up my time with you, Chief. And as promised, no nagging. I'll see you in sickbay in a year.
Hey, wait, Doc. Where are you going? Who says we don't have any more time? I mean, let's talk about this.
I said I didn't want to be interrupted.
Putris Vask.
Captain Ritara and Melion, I didn't know you were coming.
I suggest you invite us into your office, Vask.
Of course, Captain. Please, come in.
Melion, watch the door.
Of course, Captain. Weapon on stun.
Good, Melion. We don't want to start killing anyone. Yet. I need my ship, Vask. The Solar Winds. The repairs should have been completed by now.
They would have been, Captain, if you'd been able to come up with the funds to keep me working on it.
Money is not the problem, Vask. Your work is the problem.
Money is the problem, Captain Ritara. I spent everything you've given me, and considerably more. It hasn't been enough. I told you what it would cost when you brought the Solar Winds to me.
And I told you I would get you what you need.
And I believed you, but I've spent what you've given me, and have done considerable work on credit besides. But now, with all the work and equipment I put into the Solar Winds, I'm tapped out. If I sell it now, either as is, or piece it out, I may break even.
You would sell the Solar Winds? I should kill you right now for even suggesting that.
I anticipated that was going to be your response.
What is this?
An energy diffusing field. Any energy source discharged into the room, like Melion's weapon there, will be dispersed throughout the room, affecting everyone equally. You, me, even Melion. Her stun setting would probably hit like a hard slap. A higher setting would probably hurt, but we'd all survive. This weapon, however...
What is that? A slug thrower? You're threatening to shoot me with small pieces of metal?
It's pretty.
These things are beautiful, aren't they? They're almost works of art rather than weapons. I'm something of a collector.
Very quaint, Vask. But do you really think you can hide behind it?
They may be primitive weapons, Captain, but don't underestimate them. They're not as clean as a disruptor or a phaser. But they also don't have energy signatures Melion couldn't detect it on a scan.
So now you think you have the drop on me and you intend to steal my ship?
Don't get me wrong, Captain. I may well have the upper hand at the moment, but you have a reputation. A well-deserved reputation. And I prefer not to take any chances.
You're taking one now, Vask.
You know, Captain, it really doesn't matter. None of this. Your demands, my defenses. The simple fact is, I cannot afford to finish the work on your ship without more latinum.
I'll pay you, Vask. You can believe that. Once I've gotten my ship back,
the money will come pouring in. Yeah, I've heard that before. From a lot of people. From you, I actually believe it. But I'm serious when I say I can't do any more work without payment for what I've already done, and more upfront for what still needs to be done.
What happened to you, Vask? You used to understand this business.
What happened? What hasn't happened? The United Federation has always been a thorn in my side. When someone gets into trouble in deep space, the Federation is eager to help, all in the name of being a good neighbor. Payment is secondary. How am I supposed to compete with that? And they discourage my best customers, you privateers, by supporting and protecting legitimate trade.
They have always interfered, Vask. They are too weak in this sector to have that big an effect.
That's what I've always thought, Captain. But over time, they have had an effect. Their patience and general good nature have ingratiated them with the people around here. They might not be welcome, but they are trusted, especially because their recent problems haven't sent them running back to their own space. People are starting to think that maybe they could follow their lead, be inclusive, build bridges, and help each other out. Trust one another. That's bad for you, and that's bad for me. But frankly, they aren't the worst of it.
Oh, it's good to hear that it takes more than the United Federation to have you running scared.
The Corps is exerting itself again.
Mr. Big?
They are taking their efforts to organize the independent operators in the area to the next level.
Forcing everyone else to work for the Corps, you mean?
All I know is, a lot of the independents who've been at this a long time are disappearing. Quietly retiring to parts unknown, I hope. The alternative is that, well...
that they're dead.
They were friends, Captain. I'd like to think the best for them. Those who remain are considering what the Corps is offering. Spaceports, manufacturing facilities, buyers and sellers, and liking what they are seeing, at least compared to the alternative.
They realize that if they don't sign up with the Corps will come after them.
The Corps has always let it be known it was either with them or against them.
But it sounds like the repercussions for being against them will now be coming sooner rather than later.
I'm surprised you didn't already know about this.
When it comes to being with them or against them, it's pretty clear where I fall. And with no ship and my old crew scattered, I've been trying to keep a low profile.
I've heard that even the Enclave is in discussions about opening up to them.
My heart bleeds for the lot of you.
I'd like to keep you in business, Captain. I really would. I don't want to become part of the Corps any more than you do. And frankly, I'm not sure I'll be given the option of joining. I may need strong independence, like you, to stay in business.
But you can't think long-term enough to get me back into space.
I'm just trying to stay alive today. Planning for tomorrow? That's a luxury I don't have anymore.
So, you're going to sell my solar winds to Mr. Big?
If it comes to that, if he comes buying, I don't know that I can say no to him, Captain. Listen, I can't afford to work on the solar winds, but unfortunately, I do have a lot more space in my yards than I need right now. I can store your ship, for a while. Not long, but a while. Come up with the latinum for what I put into it, and you can take it back. Come up with more, and I'll put some workers on it again. But it has to be cash up front from here on out.
Oh, I understand, Vask. It's just business.
We're beyond just business, Captain Bertara. This is survival.
You need to understand this, Vask. You say you're scared of me. That's smart of you. I may not have had the influence I once had, but I will regain it even if I have to make the stars run red. You would be a fool to cross me.
Understood. I think you should leave now.
I'll leave. And then I'll come back with the latinum you need. And my solar winds had better still be waiting for me when I get here, or there will be one less independent operator when I do.
You've got 5 minutes. Anything longer than that will cost extra.
It's good to know that Enclave security is detail-oriented about some things, at least.
Let it go, Myth. Security here at the Enclave is more focused on keeping the peace and solving crimes. 5 minutes should be more than we need.
Yeah, but one of us could be reviewing Enclave security notes while the other investigated the scene.
You aren't supposed to be here at all. No way I'm going to let you split up where I can't keep an eye on both of you. Though I didn't say you couldn't see our investigation notes, but that will cost extra.
If you even have any notes.
Or performed any sort of investigation.
You won't know unless you come up with some latinum.
Oh, I think we've got a pretty good idea.
Take it easy, Myth. I know you lost a man here, but there's no reason to antagonize the natives.
Sorry, Lancer, I'm just frustrated with that officer.
Someone in your line of work has got to know that each culture has their own way of doing things. This is theirs.
Yeah, I know. It just hit a little close to home, you know?
So who was this guy? And why do you care?
I could tell you, but that would cost extra.
Oh, you're a smart mouth, are you? I'd hate to have to stumble on a couple of trespassers at the fighting arena. I'd have to arrest them and take them to the brig for interrogation.
Listen, you...
There are signs of a struggle, but the room's been cleaned up. Sort of. You can still see where the blood pool was. There's plenty of DNA here to confirm a match with Harrison.
Oh, was that his name?
Does the tricorder show anything else?
Random DNA from at least 70 individuals of a dozen separate races.
That many?
All it takes is a couple of skin cells. You and I have sloughed off enough just standing around to be picked up by the tricorder. Don't worry. I have the filters turned on to exclude us from the records. Officer, has anyone else used this room since the death?
What are you asking him for, Lancer? I'm not going to pay him for the answer.
Well, him I like. So since he asked real nice-like, I'll tell him. No, the arena management hasn't really needed the room, have they?
An unsolved murder can cut into business.
It's not that, smart mouth. What does anyone care what happens to someone else? Your guy probably tried to welch on a bet and got what was coming to him.
Listen.
Let it go, Myth.
Business is down, smart mouth. Because the arena lost its main attraction. Just poof, gone. They probably got their comeuppance in some alley somewhere. Too bad. The hope of seeing that in the ring is what was putting people in the seats and selling these fancy boxes.
I think we're done here, Lancer.
Just about. Any chance we could see any of the physical evidence, officer? The knife, any drinking glasses, even knowing what kind of food was present could give us a clue as to who else was here.
Sure, but it'll cost you extra. I may like you more than her, but not enough for a free peek.
Then I guess we're done here.
Good. I've got better things to do.
What's wrong with you, Myth? You're supposed to know what you're doing.
What do you mean, Lancer?
We lost an agent here. A good man died. What's a few more credits worth of latinum to learn what they have, even if it is nothing?
Good men die all the time, Lancer. Or have you forgotten that? I will not have my methods questioned by someone who has not been fully read into the operation, who no longer has clearance to be read into any operation, who shouldn't even be here.
Farmer thought you should have backup while you were at the Enclave. And he was right.
When I need the advice of a washed-up...
Are you guys coming? Or should I restart the meter?
We're coming. Aren't we, Lancer?
Clearly. There's nothing else to be learned here, Myth.
You will wait here.
I did not allow you to drag me across 3 solar systems to wait here.
Nevertheless, you will wait here.
You will help me rediscover who I am in exchange for my helping you. Waiting here is not helping you, so I will get nothing further in return for the time I sit here idly.
The reason you will wait here is because you do not remember who you are. You have within you a great rage that is primed to explode at any moment. This is good. A Takek should be filled with rage. But I must be careful. I do not know what may trigger you to action. What face, what voice, what noise, what scent. A Takek waits and strikes when the time is right. Without mercy, but with intent.
There is no mercy within me.
Your intent is unknown.
I can control myself.
I do not know that.
I have not killed you yet.
Perhaps when I return. But you will. Wait here.
This ship is no place for a warrior. There are cushions, and they're soft. This place is comfortable. Surely that is not Takek.
There is room to train with a Daktar. There is room to train with a Batleth. Those are the things a warrior needs.
And I feel more complete now that you have put those weapons back into my hands.
Your body and your soul retain their memories of them, even if your thoughts do not. Continue to practice with them. Perhaps more of your past will return to you if you do. I will not be gone long.
I will stay. This time. But know this, Gretok. I do not like cages. And this ship, this arrangement I have with you, is starting to feel like a cage.
Are you sure you want to do this, Vadik?
Do what, Yav? Find the resources we'll need to smuggle Tranya out of the First Federation? Absolutely I want to do this.
But there are other, better...
Are there? The core is squeezing again. Hard. I haven't fully recovered from their last time they... Quiet, Yav. Putris Vask. It's been a while.
Vodek, it's good to see you. It's good to see anyone who isn't the core. You aren't the core, are you?
No, and I'm trying to stay that way.
Glad to hear it. Do you need some work done? Rush job, maybe? I do have a bay available for some work if you have a ship that needs it.
Not at the moment, Vask. Actually, business is booming, and I'm looking for someone who might be needing some work. Know any crews who might be available?
Not many. Things are weird out there right now.
Don't I know it?
What skills are you looking for?
That depends. Are they available, reliable, and resistant to the core?
There's not many of those around. At least not many who are willing to sign on with someone else. Whether it's the core or you, Vodek.
When are people going to realize that we have to unite against the core, or we'll all go down?
It's not that they don't realize the power of unity. The problem is determining who's going to lead. After all, are you going to take directions from Captain?
What? My organization is twice what his is. Why should I take orders from... I see your point, Vask.
I can't help you with a crew, Vodek, but I might have a line on a ship.
A ship? What good is a ship without a crew?
Good point, and I really shouldn't be saying anything. The ship isn't even really available yet.
Well, you're the one who brought it up. What do you have?
Here are the specs. It's going to be costly, but you're one of the few...
Is that the Solar Winds?
No, of course not.
Captain Britara's Solar Winds?
It's the same class of ship, that's all.
Sure, right, of course. The same class of ship with the same modifications.
Captain Britara had a lot of success with those modifications. It's not surprising that someone would duplicate them.
A ship like that is probably very expensive.
It also is not available yet.
Then why are you wasting my time?
Because the owner got behind in their payments to me. And if I don't get something soon, I have to unload this and get my money out of it. I figured you called me, maybe the planets are aligning or something. I just thought I'd mention it to gauge your interest. So when it does come time to unload it, if the time comes to unload it, I can unload it fast.
I'm interested. Maybe. If the price was right. And the timing was good.
You'll be my first call. If it comes to that, Vodek.
I appreciate it, Vask. Vodek out.
A ship of the Solar Winds class? That's a stroke of luck.
Of the Solar Winds class, my lobes, Yav. That ship is the Solar Winds.
The Solar Winds still being out of commission would explain why we haven't heard more about Captain Britannia recently.
Well, you suggested Britara might be the answer to our problems before, Yav.
But you were right, Vodek. She's too hard to control.
I wonder. Maybe we're looking at the right answer from the wrong direction, Yav. Maybe the solution to our problem is not Britara, but her ship. It's fast. It has large cargo holds. It's got excellent offensive and defensive capabilities. It's a smuggler's ship.
But it's Britara's ship.
It's only Britara's ship if she can hold on to it, Yav. After all, the 219th Rule of Acquisition states that possession is 11/10 of the law. If we could get our hands on it...
But what would we do with it? We don't have the Ferengi available to crew it.
For that ship, Yav, I'll find a crew. Damon Nunel, perhaps. He's loyal.
It's moot anyway, Vodek. If it is Britara's ship, she would never let Vask sell it.
If it is the Solar Winds, and I'm sure that it is, who says we're going to wait until Vask decides it's available?
Captain Britara. Leave me alone, Melion. Can't you see I'm thinking?
A bar like this, out in the open, might not be the best place.
And how would you know where the best place is, Melion? How can anyone know where the best place is when we don't even know what we need?
We need latinum.
Are you suggesting that we rob the bar?
What? She's kidding. She's kidding. You're kidding, right? You're not planning on robbing the bar. You're not. Are you?
Latinum would solve our problems, Melion. But we would need a lot of it. And I could get it if I have the solar winds. But I need the Latinum to get this ship.
There may be other avenues to get the Latinum.
Like what, Melion? Name one financier, one moneylender, one underworld boss that isn't secretly laughing at me, glad to have me out of their way. I had this section of space by its throat, Melion. And now I have nothing.
Your crew is behind you, Captain. We're kind of spread out all over several star systems.
It doesn't matter where they are. I can't collect them without a ship. And we can't get the ship because we have no Latinum. And we can't get the Latinum because we don't have a ship. A ship with a crew.
Captain Batara.
Oh, leave me alone, Melion.
Captain.
What is it, Melion?
Look what just walked in the front door of the bar.
A Klingon? So what?
Jeneth.
Jeneth is on the Enclave fighting in arenas.
But if she regained her memory...
She'd send other Klingons after me for her revenge? Relax, Melion. If Jeneth is any indication, Klingons seeking revenge don't stroll in through the front door.
Well, he's spotted us and is headed this way. I'll stop him.
Why bother? Let's hear what he has to say, but be on your guard. And stop worrying about Jeneth. At the moment, she is no threat. And she is on my list of loose ends to be taken care of once I get my ship back.
Captain Batara, I would talk with you.
So you know who I am?
You are Captain Batara of the Solar Winds. The Cation is Melion. Your loyalty to your commander does you honor, Melion.
Is your assessment of my loyalty supposed to mean something to me? Klingon?
My name is not Klingon. I am Greetok, and I am a Klingon, like your chief of engineering, Jeneth, but unlike her as well.
Considering she wants me dead, or would want me dead if she was in her right mind, that's a good thing, Greetok.
Klingons value their honor.
So we heard from Jeneth. Endlessly.
If Jeneth wants you dead, she will not rest until either you or she has died.
If she sent you to deliver that message, consider it received.
I am Greetok. I am no mere messenger. I am here to offer you assistance.
By killing Jeneth for us?
That is not the assistance I came to offer. However, all things must be negotiable if we are each to achieve what we want.
So you aren't here so much to offer your assistance as you are to strike a deal.
I would expect something from you in return for any aid.
Ah, you're here to barter, like a Ferengi.
I have had little contact with your Ferengi so far. I know enough of them to know that you try to insult me by comparing me to them. It is dangerous to insult a Klingon, Captain Batara. But I am unlike Jeneth.
Oh, I am beginning to see that, Greetok.
You seek to manipulate me using my honor. I seek to become your ally by appealing to your trust.
I have no trust.
Of course you don't. So you would not trust me if I offered you something without expecting something else in return.
He has a point, Captain.
We do not trust each other, Captain. But that does not mean we cannot speak plainly with each other.
Then speak plainly, Greetok. What is it that you think you can do for me?
I can reunite you with the one thing you value most in this life. The solar winds.
And what would you want in return for giving me the one thing I want most?
It doesn't matter. I could ask for anything in return for your ship, and you would agree to it. You may not honor that agreement later, but you would agree to it now.
So what you want is either something I would not be normally willing to do, knowing that if that were the case, I would likely refuse to do it once I get my ship back.
There is very little that Captain Batara is unwilling to do.
Or whatever you want is likely to coincide with something I'm going to do anyway.
What, no snide retort this time, Klingon?
Your captain understands the situation very well, Cation. All that remains is determining how much latinum will be required to relaunch the Solar Winds.
I don't need latinum, Gritok.
The Solar Winds is in a repair facility, Captain. The only reason it would be there is that you do not have the latinum to complete the repairs.
There are issues, Gritok. But I do not intend to use latinum to make them go away.
I do not understand.
I will not reward Vask for the way that he has treated me by allowing him to profit off of me.
My understanding is that he seeks from you the value of considerable work he has done on the Solar Winds.
His work may have been considerable, but it was not enough.
You have a plan.
Oh yes, I have a plan. Until now, though, I did not have the means to implement it.
By revealing this to me, you are either trusting me not to warn Vask,
I have no trust.
or you see a part for me in your plan.
I intend to break into Vask's repair yard and take what is mine. Jenneth always said one Klingon is worth 20 men. I may need 20 men to fight our way to the ship and fly it afterwards.
The Solar Winds cannot fly.
My sources tell me that impulse engines are nearly online. Vask didn't complete the repairs so as to prevent what I intend to do anyway. Within half an hour's work, the impulse engines will be functional. That's all I need.
A Klingon is worth 20 men in a fight. I am no engineer.
I'll take care of the engineers I will need. But I need soldiers to take and hold the shipyard while the engineers do their work.
Putris Vask's business is close to failure as it is. If you deprive him of the value your ship represents to him, to say nothing of the damage we will do to his facilities while retrieving it, you will destroy what little he has left.
Then he should have treated me better.
Klingons are big on vengeance, aren't they, Gritok?
There may be some Klingon in you, Bratara, but petty slights and business dealings are hardly worthy of Blood Oath vengeance. Though perhaps now I see how Jenneth could have lost her way. Ah! If you who have worked with Vask care nothing for him, I care even less. I can get you men, but I will need a few days.
I can be patient, but not for long.
You will have to relax your preference for an all-female crew, at least until this retrieval is finished.
I can live with that, Gritok. But not for long. Just until I can regather my crew.
I will be in touch.
And I will start planning our assault in earnest.
You've been listening to Star Trek Outpost, Episode 71, Seeds of Chaos. Written, produced, directed, and audio engineered by Daniel McIntosh and Tony Raymond. In order of appearance, the cast for this episode featured the voice talents of Marilyn Sparks as Myth, Vincent Brownlee as Yaman Lancer, Tim Cree as Gennaro Boak, Elise Krawick as Dr. Winston, Micah Raymond as the computer, John Specht as Chief Burt Knox, Rick Campbell as Putris Vask, MJ Cogburn as Captain Bratara, Chris Cree as Melian, Jim Wilhelm as Gritok, C.C. Peterson as Jenneth, Larry John as Enclave Security, Eddie Bowley as Yav, and Tony Raymond as Vadik. Original music provided courtesy of Matthew McLaren from S&M Productions, Kevin McLeod from Incompetech.com, and Jared Cowing. This is Paul Lavelle. Thanks for listening. Star Trek Outpost, created by Daniel McIntosh and Tony Raymond. Based on Star Trek, created by Gene Roddenberry. No rights infringement intended. Tune in next time for Episode 72, Wicked Harvest. For news and updates, please visit us on the web at StarTrekOutpost.com, GiantGnome.com, or on